The Super-Arm, television's toughest test of mind and body and the ultimate challenge for Krypton Factor contestants.
Tonight, 4 more compete to lift the K and take their place in next week's group finals.
Round 1, the assault course, where contestants are competing to beat individual target times based on age and gender. It isn't necessarily the first to finish who wins, but who performs best against his or her target over a punishing 400-metre course.
Setting the early pace is Paul Sullivan, an operations manager from Liverpool. The assault course is a unique test of both agility and endurance. 16 punishing obstacles, testing every muscle and sinew. It's crucial that contestants pace themselves correctly. Pushing hard in second place is Martin Ibbotson in the red, but with a very fast start, it's 29-year-old Paul Sullivan leading the way.
In preparing for the Krypton Factor, I've been going to the gym 2-3 times a week prior to filming. I've enjoyed it, but my body hasn't.
In second place, his target time 8 seconds less than Paul's, is 33-year-old Martin Ibbotson. And Paul widening the gap, but as the younger man, it is vital he extends that lead while not burning himself out too early.
Trailing the men at this stage, but giving them a run for their money, is Karen Saunders.
I'm hoping to do well on the mental agility round because I think that's where my strength lies. I'm really looking forward to the parachute jump in the super round because it's something I've never done.
Paul still setting a cracking pace, but he needs to maintain that big gap between himself and Martin in red and Ray Wicks in blue, who's entangled in the cargo net. Across the 20-foot-high tram wires, Paul losing a knee pad there, and now Martin beginning to make ground on him.
At 41, Ray Wicks is the oldest competitor this year.
My wife insisted that I come on the Krypton Factor because for years I've been standing in front of the television and saying, I can do that.
Still in second place as he goes down through the bruising S-bend is Martin Ibbotson, and despite his obvious exhaustion, he knows he must keep closing that gap on Paul.
I was looking forward to the assault course the most until I saw how big it was, but I think now I'll probably go for the mental agility as my best round.
Karen Saunders struggling against her target time, but Paul's still in the lead as he reaches the A-frame. But now Martin's found an extra burst of energy and he is starting to close the gap. But Paul hanging on to that lead, and he is on time to beat his target, but has he put enough between him and Martin? It's a battle between these two, Paul Sullivan and Martin Ibbotson. Up now to the Burma rope bridge. Paul just can't afford to slow down because Martin is closing the gap with every step. Paul has set the pace from the start, but he's really feeling the effects now. There's just the aerial slide to go, but he needs to be at least 8 seconds ahead of Martin. So it's a terrific performance from Paul Sullivan, but he can't celebrate yet. He's got the big splashdown ahead, but is it a big enough lead? Well, here comes Martin, and it's going to be a very tight finish. Who will take the 10 points? We'll know shortly.
And after tackling that toughest of assault courses out on the Lancashire moors, let's now welcome to the studio our contestants.
And the winner on the assault course from Liverpool, Paul Sullivan.
And the full result, Karen takes 2 points for 4th place, Ray 4 points and Martin 6. But by coming in 2 seconds ahead of his target time, Paul takes 10 points.
For round 2, we test mental agility. I'll be asking the contestants questions relating to separate groups, which may include numbers, letters, months, shapes, or clock times. The questions are about the particular group they're looking at. So if they were given a set of letters, E, H, O, and R, I might ask, not in the word brought. The correct answer would be E, as that's not in brought. The first to touch the screen correctly wins the point. So if you are now ready, contestants, we'll start with numbers. 1 less than half of 14. Neither odd nor divisible by 3. 5 letters. 3 squared plus 1. The difference is 4. The sum is 1 more than 12. 3 squared plus 4. 5 numbers between. Now clock times. 4 hours 20 after 2200. 6 hours after 11:05. 8 hours after 0530. 4.5 hours before 0440. 65 minutes before 1810. Midway between 1200 and 1500. 14 hours after 1010. 95 minutes before 0355. Shapes, 4 sides. Neither red nor circular. Neither black nor even sides. 3 to the left of the 4th image. 2 shapes, 5 sides in total. Even sides. Black, more than 1 side. Red, even sides. Now months. Middle letter R. 30 days. Neither ends in R nor Y. 3 months between. 9 letters. 5 months before August. That's it, the end of the round, and a quick glance at the computer shows that 2 contestants, Paul and Karen, tied with 7 correct answers, so the clock will separate them, and the faster to respond was Karen Saunders.
The full result now, Ray scores 2 points, Martin 4, and on that time differential, Paul 6 and Karen 10 points. So at the end of round 2, still in the lead with a Krypton Factor of 16 is Liverpool's Paul Sullivan.
Our response round, and this is where our contestants get to see what it feels like to be a Red Arrow's pilot, thanks to British Aerospace's multi-million-pound simulator. As usual, the contestants are aiming to follow the aerobatics of a lead plane. The maximum score is 100, but points are lost for deviations, losing contact or crashing. Any score, though, over 80 is rated as excellent.
Martin Ibbotson is first into the cockpit, an accountant with MTV. It's a loop first, and keep a check on the tracking score in the box to the right. That will tell you how well he's doing. And the score is dropping away quite rapidly, which means that he's in trouble. He has parted company with the lead aircraft, as the box above the tracking score shows. And that's him nearest to us. He has got too high and is ahead of the leader. And is he making a comeback? Keep an eye on the box above the tracking score. He seems to have come right back to the leading aircraft. Oh, he's lost it again. He's going right out to that outer ring, which means he has 10 seconds in which to recover. And it doesn't look like he's going to make it. In fact, his flight is about to be aborted, and that's bad luck for Martin. Now Karen Saunders, a forensic scientist. She's in 2nd place overall, so if she can do well here, she could move into the lead. Reaching the top of the loop above Blackpool, and a very good tracking score so far. The leader right in the centre of her windscreen, and that's where she'll want to keep him. Levelling out now over the South Promenade, about 350 feet, and Karen over anticipating the next climb. Now, can she recover from that? It's going to be difficult. No, the top box shows that she's losing contact. She's drifting towards the outer circle, which means she has just 10 seconds to find the leader. She's plunging down towards the sea, and I think it's going to be all over for Karen. Yes, a crash into the sea. Bad luck. Next, Paul Sullivan, the overall leader, and with a great chance now of stretching that lead. Begins his steep climb, and just drifting right. He wants to stay directly on the tail of the lead aircraft. It's easier said than done, of course, but once you're even slightly out of position, it can become very difficult. And indeed, it has done just that for Paul. He has lost contact. The top box on the right charts it for you, and you can see it very clearly above Blackpool. He is floundering, and he can't possibly recover from that. The warning lights flashing in the cockpit, and that's 3 disasters in a row. Finally, it's Ray Wicks. Well, he was in last place going into this round, so after those last 3 efforts, he has a great chance now to improve his position. Nicely behind the leader. The tracking score is very good. Coming to the top of the loop, and this is where Paul lost it in the last flight. But Ray hangs in there now, accelerating to 400 knots down to the promenade, levelling out at 350 feet. Well, he should be levelling out, but he's not. The nose is still down. He needs to pull back fast, but no, he plunges into the sand.
And that crash means only 2 points for Ray, 4 for Karen, 6 for Paul, and 10 points for Martin. It's a very close contest, but still in the lead with a Krypton Factor of 22 is Operations Manager Paul Sullivan.
Well, next we examine our contestants' ability to recall visual information in our observation round.
Once again, our observation round features a unique piece of animation. Our contestants will be asked 5 questions after we've seen Laundorama. Five questions on that animation, starting now. At the very beginning, we saw ducks through the window of the second washing machine. But what could be seen through the window of the first machine? What colour was the washing basket on the floor? What was the time on the clock? How many red chairs were there in total? Which of these washing machines did the socks leave? A particularly tough round. There was a tie for second place. Paul answered quicker, so he's second, and Karen is third. But the overall winner of the round, the man who most needed the points, Ray Wicks. So, Martin scores 2 points, Karen 4, Paul 6, but the 10 points go to Ray. Which means that our leader has stretched his lead to 6 points, still in front with a Krypton Factor of 28, Paul Sullivan.
Round 5 is 75 seconds of rapid-fire general knowledge questions, and with 2 points for a correct answer, the contestants can really build their points totals here to buy themselves key advantages in the Super Round. But of course, they will lose 2 points any time they get a question wrong. So are you ready, contestants? The clock starts now. Fratricide means the crime of killing which relative? Martin?
Your brother.
Correct. Which brother of an American president was involved in the death of Mary Jo Kopechne at Karen?
Edward Kennedy.
Correct. In jazz, by what nickname is Edward Kennedy Ellington better known? Ray?
Duke.
Correct. In which Shakespeare play is the Duke of Milan exiled to a desert island with his daughter Miranda? Ray?
The Tempest.
Correct. Troy Tempest commands a futuristic submarine in which Paul?
Stingray.
Correct. Which stinging creature represents the 8th sign of the zodiac covering October? Ray?
The Scorpion.
Correct. Who directed the films Scorpio, Death Wish and The Mechanic? Answer is Michael Winner. In 1994, which Scot was the winner of the women's 10,000 metres in the Commonwealth Games and the World Cup? Paul?
Liz McColligan.
No, Yvonne Murray. The Murray River is the longest in which Commonwealth country? Martin?
Australia.
Correct. Which Australian film starred Paul Mercurio and Tara Maurice as dancers whose steps are not recognised but Ray?
Strictly Ballroom.
Correct. The ball in polo is made from what sort of substance? The answer is wood. Well, that's it. The end of the round, and it means that the leader going into the Super Round with a Krypton Factor of 28 is the operations manager from Liverpool, Paul Sullivan. So Paul has the edge, though only just. But now all the contestants must choose how they'll use their points totals to buy themselves advantages in the Super Round, coming next.
Yes, it's crucial contestants use their advantages well, particularly in a contest as close run as tonight's. The thrilling climax to the Krypton Factor, the Super Round, is next.